Welcome to CarSimply News. President Biden did something no other U.S. president has ever done before. He joined Shawn Fain and the UAW on a picket line in Michigan. Now, you might be wondering, why is this such a big deal? Well, it shows that Joe Biden is supportive of unions and the labor movement. As Shawn Fain, the UAW president, puts it, quote, "We are not asking for anything unreasonable. We are asking for a fair share of the profits that we helped create. We are asking for dignity and respect on the job. We are asking for a voice in our future." Biden, in his own words, also emphasized the significance of this moment. Quote, "You're not just striking for yourselves, you're striking for all workers in America. You're striking for the right to organize, the right to bargain collectively, the right to have a say in your own destiny. You're striking for the soul of this country." In fact, Biden has said he's going to be the most pro-union president ever, and his visit to the picket line is proof of that. As Shawn Fain, UAW president, notes, quote, "We are grateful for President Biden's support and solidarity. He understands the struggles of working people, and he knows that unions are the backbone of the middle class. He is the most pro-union president in history, and we are proud to have him on our side." Now let's talk about what this visit could mean. On one hand, it's like a big morale boost for the union. Imagine having the President of the United States standing with you. That's some serious bargaining power. Plus, Biden agrees with the union's demand for a 40% wage increase over 4 years, which puts extra pressure on the car companies to meet those demands. But here's the flip side. Some folks in the car industry might not be too happy about Biden getting involved. They might see it as him sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. Plus, Biden's all about pushing for electric vehicles and battery plants, which some car companies worry could hurt their profits. Biden himself stated, quote, "The future of the auto industry is electric, and the future of electric vehicles is made in America. That's why I'm fighting for a Build Back Better plan that will invest billions of dollars in building battery plants, charging stations, and electric vehicles right here in the U.S. And I want to make sure that those jobs are good union jobs that pay a decent wage and provide a secure retirement." This whole situation also raises questions about the government's role. Should they be getting involved in labor disputes like this? It's a bit of a tricky situation. Now, let's get into the political stuff. Biden's visit could be a game changer for him and the Democrats. It could make blue-collar workers and union members really like him, especially in states like Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. And it's a stark contrast to his rival, former President Trump, who hasn't always been as pro-union. But if this strike drags on for a long time or messes up the economy, it could backfire big time. Republicans and business folks might accuse Biden of being too cozy with unions and harming the car industry. And here's something bigger. This visit could have a lasting impact on unions in the U.S. On one hand, it might inspire more workers to stand up for better pay and conditions, especially after all the craziness from the pandemic. But on the flip side, it could make employers and conservatives try to weaken unions. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. As for any secret plan Biden might have up his sleeve, there's no evidence of that. He hasn't spilled the beans on any special strategies. He's just saying he's on the side of the workers and hopes for a fair outcome. Simple as that. Now let's look into the future. If this strike ends peacefully, it could be a sign that things are getting back to normal. The car industry is a big deal for both the US and Canada, so that's good news. It could also mean more money in the pockets of workers and consumers, which helps the economy grow and creates jobs. But there's always a catch. Depending on how the agreement shakes out, it could mean higher prices, less profit, or less competitiveness for car companies. And it might even set off a chain reaction where other workers and unions start demanding better wages and benefits, which could lead to inflation or more strikes in other industries. Now let's catch up on what's going on with Stellantis and the United Auto Workers. First off, the latest news is that the union said no thanks to Stellantis' most recent offer. What was in that offer, you ask? Well, it had many advantages, like a 21% wage increase spread out over 4 years, a hefty $12,000 bonus just for signing on, and a plan to either close or change the purpose of 18 facilities in the U.S. but the union felt that this offer didn't cut it. They're worried about job security, health care, and getting rid of those different wage levels. The union also had a bit of a frown because Stellantis didn't commit to investing more in making electric vehicles and battery plants in the U.S. That's a big deal these days, with everyone talking about electric cars and such. Now the strike has gone beyond just the factories. It's spread to include 38 parts warehouses all over the country. That's affecting the supply of car bits for not just Stellantis, but also Ford and GM. The strike got going back on September 15, 2023, and here's a fun fact. It's the first time ever that all three of the big car makers are dealing with a strike at the same time. But let's rewind a bit. The first offer Stellantis made to the union was back on September 13, 2023. In that offer, they dangled a 17.5% wage increase over 4 years, that $10,000 signing bonus, and a bit of profit sharing based on how much money the company makes before paying interest and taxes. They also had plans to close or combine 10 Mopar parts and distribution centers and turn the Belvidere assembly plant in Illinois into a big hub for parts. Sounds good, right? Well, not good enough for the union, who wanted even better pay, nicer benefits, and more job security. The second offer from Stellantis came just 3 days later, on September 16, 2023. This time, they bumped up the wage increase to 21% over 4 years, with a juicy 10% raise right out of the gate. They also sweetened the signing bonus to $12,000 and kept the profit-sharing idea. But, and this is a big but, they stuck to their plan of closing or changing 18 facilities, including their North American headquarters and tech center in Michigan. The union said that there were not enough guarantees for the future products and investments in the U.S. Now, here's where things stand. There haven't been any more offers from Stellantis since that second one. Negotiations seem to have hit a brick wall, and the strike has amped up. The union has even said they're ready to keep striking for months if they have to. On the other side of the table, Stellantis is trying to figure out a solution that's fair and keeps their business competitive and profitable. It's a real tug-of-war between workers' demands and a big car company's bottom line, and it's keeping everyone on their toes. Now the latest on what's happening with Ford and GM in their labor tussles with the United Auto Workers. First, let's talk about Ford. Good news for them. They've wrapped things up. The union and Ford agreed on a 3-year contract that finally ended a 12-day strike involving over 60,000 workers. What's in this contract, you ask? Well, it's got a 21% wage increase spread over 4 years, a nice $12,000 signing bonus, a plan to pump $6 billion into U.S. plants, and a commitment to make electric vehicles and batteries right here in the U.S. They've also scrapped that 2-tier wage system and brought back the cost of living adjustment formula. The union is thrilled, calling it a historic victory for workers. They even gave a nod to President Biden for his support. Ford didn't just land on this agreement overnight. They made 2 offers before getting to this one. The first offer was made on September 13, 2023, and it had a 17.5% wage hike over 4 years, that $10,000 signing bonus, and some profit sharing based on how much money the company makes before interest and taxes. They also had plans to close or combine 10 Mopar parts and distribution centers and turn the Belvidere assembly plant in Illinois into a big hub for parts. But the union wasn't having it. They wanted better pay, cooler benefits, and more job security. Then, Ford tried again on September 16, 2023. This time, they went big with a 21% wage hike over 4 years, including a fat 10% raise right away. They kept that $12,000 signing bonus and hung on to the profit-sharing idea. But they didn't budge on their plans to close or change 18 facilities, including their North American headquarters in Michigan. The union gave this one the thumbs down, too, saying it didn't give enough guarantees for future products and investments in the U.S. Now, let's shift gears to GM. Things aren't looking as rosy there. The union and GM are locked in a battle with no end in sight. Their strike has gone on for 12 days and involves more than 60,000 workers. This strike is hitting GM hard, costing them an estimated $100 million a day in lost production and revenue. Ouch! The union's request is pretty much the same. More money, higher wages, better health care, more investment in electric cars and batteries, and the right to strike over plant closures. GM's counteroffer includes a 17.5% wage increase over 4 years, a $10,000 signing bonus, and profit sharing based on their earnings before interest and taxes. They're also talking about closing or combining 10 Mopar parts and distribution centers and turning that idled Belvedere assembly plant in Illinois into a big parts hub. But, the union said, nope, not good enough. They want more guarantees for the future. UAW President Shawn Fain has been trying to sweeten the deal with GM by making some counteroffers, but GM hasn't bitten. Fain isn't thrilled with GM's high CEO pay and what he sees as low worker compensation. He's also not too happy with GM's commitment to building electric vehicles and batteries in the U.S. The strike has gotten bigger, too. It's now affecting 38 parts warehouses across the country, which is causing trouble for GM, Ford, and Stellantis. This strike is making history, being the first time all 3 big car makers are dealing with a strike at the same time. As for when this will all end, well, no one knows. Both sides are saying they're up for more talks, but they haven't set a date yet. President Biden is chiming in too, urging them to find a peaceful solution and offering his support to the workers. So that's where we stand with Ford and GM, one celebrating, the other still in a heated showdown. Make sure you subscribe for more twists and turns in this auto industry drama. Watch this video next for more on the United Auto Workers strike. I really appreciate your support. This was CarSimply News.